So you know what notes are, you know what intervals are, you understand key centers. Cool. Now we're building scales. And here's where people get overwhelmed because they think they need to memorize like 47 different scales. You don't. You need to know one scale really, really well. Everything else is just a variation of that one scale. That scale is the major scale, and it's built with a specific pattern of whole steps and half steps. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's it. That's the formula. Start on any note, let's say C, and follow that pattern. C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step back to C. 7 unique notes. That's a major scale. Now, here's the thing nobody tells you. You don't actually memorize scales. You memorize the formula, and then you can build any major scale from any starting note instantly. Want F major? Start on F, apply the formula. Want E flat major? Start on E flat, apply the formula. I'm not sitting here with 12 major scales memorized. I know the pattern so well that I can see it spread out from any root note. That's the skill, not memorization, pattern recognition. Now let's number these notes. In the major scale, we call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Simple. The first note is 1, the second is 2, and so on. These numbers are called scale degrees, and this is where it gets important. Major scale is your template, the unaltered natural version. Every other scale is defined by how it differs from major. This is crucial. Major is the reference point for everything. Take the minor scale. What makes it minor? The third, sixth, and seventh notes are flattened. That's it. If you know your major scale cold, you don't even need a separate formula for minor. You just flatten the 3, 6, and 7. Play a C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now flatten the E to E flat, the A to A flat, and the B to B flat. That's C minor. Same root note, same home feeling, but the pattern around it changed. This is how I actually think about scales, not as separate formulas to memorize, but as alterations to the major template. Dorian mode, that's major with a flat 3 and flat 7. Mixolydian, major with a flat 7. You're not learning new scales, you're learning which numbers to alter. Now, here's the scale degree pattern you need to memorize. 1, flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, sharp 4 or flat 5, 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7, 7, back to 1. Notice the gaps. There's no sharp 3 or flat 4, just like there's no E sharp or F flat. They're the same note. And there's no sharp 7 or flat 1. Same reason. This pattern is so important that I'm going to say it again. If you know this cold, you can build literally any scale, any chord, any progression. This is the foundation. Major scale forward and back, scale degrees memorized, and you've got the framework for everything else in music theory. You should be able to start on any note and build a major scale. You should be able to go backwards from any note. You should even be able to start in the middle. If I give you a note and say that's the 3, you should be able to figure out where 1 is. This connects back to the relativity concept. When we talked about intervals, we learned 2 systems: absolute names, major third, perfect fifth, and relative names, scale degrees. Both are useful. Absolute interval names tell you the physical distance between 2 notes regardless of context. A major third is always 4 half steps, helpful for identifying intervals in isolation. But scale degrees tell you where you are in relation to home, in relation to the tonic. And since all Western music happens inside key centers, this system is more useful for actually making music. When I say flat 3, you know exactly where that is in the key and how it relates to everything else. The absolute names are good for communication. Play a perfect fifth higher. The relative names are better for composition. That melody lands on the 5, which has tension, so it wants to resolve to the 1. Here's the practice. Pick any note and build a major scale from it using the formula. Then build a minor scale. Then build major scales backwards. Then pick a random note, call it 3, and figure out what key you're in. Do this until the pattern is automatic, until you're not thinking whole, whole, half, you're just thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because that's how this actually works in practice. I don't think in formulas anymore. I think in numbers. I see relationships. That's the goal. So don't get intimidated by scales. You don't need to memorize 100 different patterns. You need to know one pattern, major, so well that you can build it from anywhere, forwards or backwards or starting in the middle. Everything else is just which numbers get altered. Master this and the rest of theory becomes straightforward.